Well, once again, it's time, my friends, for another meet and greet. We're Southern Fried and nationwide, so hang on to your seat. Look around, here's what I found. I guess you'll never know what you'll see on the Southern Fried Podcast Show. Yeehaw!
And we're back. And we hope a few will come in. We want to do a wrap up show left before the beatdown was over in the game and talk about a few of those uh, things in the game. What an what a beatdown. Wow. I didn't see that coming, but I think I did say in my comments that if a team got up, which they had both had the explosive power to do that, I thought the Eagles had a little more that it could turn into a 2 touchdown game or something, but not 40 or 35 or whatever. Um, uh, all phases of the game were in play, and they did outstanding. Congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles. Great organization, all those great players. No, I didn't. Yes, I did hear about that, Sugar and Ice. I did hear about that. We actually covered that. I covered that in Saturday. It was shocking. I had me possibly to be one of those maybe kind of getting having people around that shouldn't be around kind of thing, but I wasn't sure because at first it just seemed like it was an unfortunate event that occurred, and then they arrested the lady. So I was actually just going through some of the states and looking at some news from there, and went there because of the Super Bowl and saw that story. It's tragic, and that's what I was saying. That it seems like during some of these Super Bowls, you have these tragic events that happened, and I was hoping that we wouldn't have that, but obviously we did, and just a horrible, horrible thing. But I didn't hear that. I don't know if they've released. I mean, obviously she was arrested and using his credit cards. So I don't know any more than that, like what really happened. But they were seen together or something. So it's tragic. Again, it reminds me of the businessman that went to the last Super Bowl and got out looking for things he shouldn't have been looking for, and got in trouble and with drugs or whatever, and probably had a secret addiction that nobody knew about. But then obviously the Ray Lewis one. I hate to say it that way. I know it was cleared, but there's some things there that I never did like about that. That was in Atlanta. Um, yes, and I did. He had some tragedy before that. Yeah. So very strange story. Just a very very unfortunate. There was someone that stood up on a car with a Palestinian and Somalia flag, and they were promptly tackled by the police and arrested. A lot of sound bites coming out. I didn't see every single thing. Tried to keep up as much as I could. Some news wasn't being reported, obviously, during the game, but obviously the president was there, received cheers. Taylor Swift was booed. Uh, Not a crowd for her. I was glad to see that the president had come. There was some concern about that by some fans, but I'm glad he went, and I think it's a great that he went. It's good to see presidents getting out. No matter the party, I've always thought sports, really rose us above those things. Everybody sitting in the stands, we don't know what they're a fan of, but they're a fan of sports, and I've always thought it was good for presidents. It's a tradition that presidents show up for baseball and football games and basketball or sometimes and things like that. So I thought it was good that those were the tragic things. The there were some keys that I picked. I think that were good, and I missed on a couple. I said the defensive line for the Eagles was a beast, and I didn't know if the Kansas City offensive line could handle them, and they couldn't. Not even having to blitz, they just eat them alive. I mean, it was for the longest time. Kansas City had less than 40 yards of offense. Now, there was a couple of drops that hurt. This is not Mahomes' fault. He did throw two passes that should have been thrown. I think those were just trying to make something happen. One of them was a hit. He got pushed into by his offensive lineman, changed the trajectory of the pass. he was playing hard and trying. Kelsey, that no, I didn't see anybody giving up. It was just their offensive line was not ready for that defensive line. And let's be honest, that defensive line has been dominating people. But Saquon, he chipped away, had a nice little game. AJ Brown had a great game, and I said he needed to touch the ball, and he certainly did touch the ball several times. But I mean, and Hurts, one, he was moving around with his legs very well. I said that would probably be a factor. The fact that they really held the Philly running game in check was shocking to the score. Of course, one of those was a return for touchdown. And after I kind of jumped on the kicker for Philly, he comes out and he nails every kick, including a 50-yarder. So go figure. Great job defensive line, Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Sweat, a couple of other players in there. They just did what they wanted to do. They absolutely destroyed that offensive line. There was nothing that they could do to stop it. Mahomes was completely running for his life, uncomfortable. He couldn't even look down the field because he was looking at all the offensive linemen that were coming at him. Just a total, they finally got Worthy involved, his speed, and he did make a difference. They did get the one score, and just too little, too late. There was just nothing there that, it was just obvious from the word go that Philly was in this game to win it. They had the eye of the tiger. It is hard to three-peat. That's it's just very hard, but coming into this game, I felt like Kansas City, they've been sort of dodging bullets all season long. They did just enough to win. They won late. They had to go for it on fourth downs and drives late in games to win. They just didn't seem like that they could, really multiply points quickly if they needed to. Had to go into overtime, I think, a couple of times at least during the season. I thought they would run the ball a little bit better than they did, a little bit, not a lot, but they didn't. But I was really shocked. I really thought that Mahomes would have a decent game. He did not, up to the point I left. There was a few minutes left. The defensive line and the linebackers, really the whole Philly defense was just incredibly just domineering in this game. And offensively they just they did what they need to do. And so yeah, I wasn't expecting that. I thought at the most it'd be a 10-point difference late in the game if somebody really got up and maybe turned the ball over or something. But it was pretty obvious. I mean, nothing could happen right. I thought, if the only time in the game I thought that maybe, they would possibly, Chiefs could maybe kind of get back in the game was late in the first half, got the ball. They do this all the time. Philly stalled. The defense played well for the Chiefs. Kansas City has the ball. I figure if they score there, which they usually do of some kind, they get the ball coming out of the half. If they score there, maybe they're back in the game and it make a game of it. It would have still been losing, but it would have been in the ballpark. But that wasn't to happen. He got blocked into by the offensive lineman right as he was releasing the ball. Very unfortunate, and they were reading his eyes anyway. I don't even know if he'd have completed that pass if he's standing up straight. But anyway, they got the ball, and that just really sealed it right there. I don't think there was anything they could do at the half that would change much. They did come out and try to do a little bit of hurry up. Did push the ball downfield a little bit more. There were some crucial penalties, drops that didn't help anything. But even if you clean all those up, I just don't see that Kansas City was ever going to win this game. And it's unfortunate because I really thought that this would be a good close game. This is one that's going to sting them. No matter how many Super Bowls you win, a game like that on the biggest stage is going to hurt, and it's going to hurt for the rest of their careers. I mean, you can't see it any other way. And for the Eagles, it's going to be the pinnacle of their careers because if who knows if they'll make it back? They could, but they won it, and they're set for the long haul. That's a young team. There are a couple of positions, but mainly that's a really young team, especially along that defensive front. They're set up to really be running now. And maybe it's a changing of the guard. Not that Kansas City is going to go anywhere, but they've been kind of layering off a little bit. They just weren't that powerhouse that they've used to be, and people got used to them. They almost lose, they almost lose, they pull it out, they pull it out. They've not been really handling teams. Philly has. Philly looked extremely powerful late in the season in the playoffs. They just looked like they were going to just tear them up, whoever they played, and they did. Yeah, it's rude. They just spanked them. I mean, that's the best way you can say. I mean, that is as bad of a Super Bowl beatdown that I don't know. There may be something else up there. I guess you go back to maybe one of the Buffaloes or something where they got down. They did try to come back in that game, but even then they did more than the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes is going to be hurting after this game. He was battered, sacked, pressured, knocked down. A couple of violent hits on his arm, and of course they got the penalty there late where the ball got knocked loose. They did give him in the face. It was post possession. It was pretty ugly. It hurts a little bit there for just a little bit. Kansas City, and I want to regret watching it. Yeah, I was sitting there like I said. Well, I said I was really. I said, I don't even know why I'm still here. I really wanted to get online a little earlier. And I said, I'm going to go. My son was like, Dad, I think it's over. I said, well, I think it was over in the first quarter, but I kept watching. But there's a number of things associated with the game that will come out as we go. Now the question being is because honestly, and I said if Kansas City wins, I really expected Travis Kelce to possibly retire. Can he let it go after this? Because I'll be honest, nobody looked good. I mean, and he's just not the player he used to be. He's still playing at a fairly high caliber, but does he have to roll it back and try now one more time? I wouldn't be shocked if he retired. I'm not going to say he will. I'm not saying that. I'm saying I would not be shocked. He doesn't have to prove anything else. You come back for your three-peat chance. I think that this is going to be some things decided out of this game. Did you watch the halftime? Will he be back? Okay, you say he's coming back. He's just at that age where you start thinking about it. But I think the ego in him would say you can't go out like that. You got to come back. You got to play for some pride. Going forward. And, it's a lot of money on the line too. But I did see a few of the commercials. I didn't see many of them. I was busy with family and other things. I was trying to straighten my phone out. I've had phone issues for a month and a half. Finally was getting my new phone set up. So I looked up at a few of them. I didn't really watch all of them, but there was a couple of them that stood out. I saw the Harrison Ford one where he's advertising was it Jeep, and he says even though my name whispers it's Ford, and the dog looks at him funny. I thought that was pretty cute. And there was one for mayonnaise that was a little risque. I saw that, not much. I mean, for me it's risque. For other people it's just funny, I guess. But I did not watch. Yes, fly Eagles fly. They did. They flowed, and they crapped all over Kansas City. I mean, boy, did they just destroy them, Asher Thrasher. But you look at this this halftime, and did you watch the entertainer? It's not my style. I kept it on and turned the sound down because I was really looking at other things. But I just wondered if anybody liked that. It's funny to watch it with the sound down. Yes, it was worst game for Mahomes. Whoops, let me get that back up there. Worst game. Absolutely, he did, and he was running for his life. It was a horrible performance by him, though. At times when he could have probably done better. You say you loved the halftime show. Okay, fair enough. The choreography is always great. They had a lot of people involved. Rude says I don't like that great, but that's you're absolutely right. That Chiefs offensive line has more holes than a block of Swiss cheese. I didn't think that played that bad. I really thought, Philly likes to bring them up, bring some pressure. I mean, was anybody? I mean, Mahomes at one point looked like he was running in five directions at one time. He was completely surrounded, and he had nowhere to escape to. I mean, they were just okay, Drake. They were. I get it. They were, man. They were collapsing that line, and they were even holding them at some points, which they got called for on some of them. But yeah, the edge was the worst. I mean, Sweat was eating up. I mean, the dude was living in the backfield. I mean, just I mean, he's just he's just having. It looked like one of those backyard football games where it's mismatched, and you've got a guy that looks like he's about 6'4", and there's not enough guys to play a really good game, so they have to put like a little bitty thin, 5'8" or 9" dude on him, like do the best you can, man, and just try to make him slow him down. That's what it looked like. And the Chiefs' offensive linemen looked really flat footed, especially on those edges, like you said. Mahomes was trying to look like Houdini the entire game. Yeah, he wasn't, he couldn't hide. He couldn't hide. They had no running game. Very, very little. The one dude that dropped the pass when he finally was running for his life, he throwed it out there. Dude was wide open. I mean, come on, man. Come on, dude. I mean, you can't drop that pass. It's pitiful. Flip the ball out to Kelsey. It's way too little, too late. But it was one of those classic moves. But man, just horrible, horrible. Showing by the Chiefs. I mean, that's a proud team. I imagine there was a lot of, there's going to be a lot of talk after this game about what they got to do. I will say, when Kansas City looked bad on, they've really, if you think about it, if you go back, since the time they gave Tyreek Hill that big, pretty big contract way back, they kind of suffered on the offensive line a little bit. They've been able to overcome that, I think, a lot through Mahomes' ability and the running game. But they've had some problems on that offensive line for a while. It's not the best. It never has. That was Hopkins. I didn't catch the name when I first saw it, and yeah, it should have been caught. You're absolutely. I mean, dude, how did it? I mean, I don't even know if he took his eyes off of it. Like a lot of times you see their head turning a little bit, and State Farm gonna drop balls. This is Jake. It's over. Oh man, that's classic. I love it. Mahomes, you bum. Oh man, there'll be no Walt Disney World, no parade. There was a look. There was a look on. I really do like their coach. I really do. There was one point. It was before halftime, even. I mean, he's trying to call these plays. It might have been after that draw. I don't remember. Or I think it was during a penalty or something. They finally get a little yards. It was a penalty. He's looking up at the see the replay is what he's doing. But he just looked like he was just utterly like, what the crap? You know what? And that game, they should have had a mercy call. That game was so over that I look up and I kept thinking it's got to be about over, because it stretches long because of the commercials. I mean, here they are, they're up like 40-6 or something, and there's like 9 minutes left in the fourth quarter. I'm like, oh gosh, is it not over yet? And I bet the Chiefs were thinking that too. Mahomes should have gotten All-State, so he could have been protected from all this. That's classic. I love it. Y'all bring it. More lopsided than the Bucks Chiefs Super Bowl a few years ago. Yeah, this is like the worst one. I mean, dude's killing it on the comments tonight. Those should be memes, dude. You need to drop those on the social media, man. Oh, that's great. On the plus side, like I said, I really do like the Eagles, and I'm happy for them. And I was thinking about this late in the game. Well, you should. If you're not, I'm just saying, if you have it, you should, because you're crushing it. But I was thinking, one of the great stories here, and I mentioned it in the pre-show, was oh, you do YouTube as my job covering football. Okay, well then absolutely. But I was watching Hurts late in the game. He just so in control the whole game, and I thought about this young man and what a journey. He really got in a lot of ways done dirty. I mean, and now you Alabama fans, y'all can be mad at me if you want, and I know y'all loves you some Tua and all that, but a lot of Alabama fans really turned on him when he struggled in that championship game, and Tua come in and took it, and there was a lot of not no pun intended. There was a lot of hurt feelings, and how Saban and the whole deal. So he leaves. I mean, like he ups and leaves, and he goes. He has a great year. They don't win it all, but he has a great year. And now look at the turn of events. Hey, Jake, and he's not from State Farm. I looked down and see Jake. I thought, dang, is he calling? He's calling in the podcast. Tell that bum Mahomes he's done. But yeah, he gets the championship. You know what? You can never, not like it replaces, but like if they show up at an Alabama alumni thing and Tua's got his national championship ring on, Hurts is like, yeah, this Super Bowl ring feels pretty good on the finger. I love that. Hurts going from Alabama and getting benched for Tua to going to Oklahoma and getting drafted by the Eagles and finally winning the Super Bowl. It is an amazing story, and that's what I was thinking about. And it really just, for me, because it just seemed like he never really has gotten credit for everything. And nothing against Tua. It's not a slam on Tua, but Tua suffered the concussions, and his career is in question, and Miami's just not getting it done. And here is Hurts riding high. And it goes to show you just never know how a story's going to finish. That's why you read the book, you read it to the end. And this guy's young, man. He's got a chance to really just throw up some amazing numbers going forward. But yeah, you got that right. I mean, it really is. I mean, Andrew Luck was supposed to be the guy, super talented, uber talented, and as to his, and he just couldn't stay healthy. And everybody thought he was going to come back. And he is just getting started. You're absolutely correct. Hurts is just getting started. Thank you, Jake. Appreciate you, bud. And we're having some fun. There's some great comments coming in the chats. And, have fun with it. It's always fun. The only sad part, as I said, this football is really, for me, over until, the draft and also the camps opening back up. Steelers fan, but I was cheering for the Eagles. That's me. I'm a Falcons fan, but I was cheering for. Like I said, I like both teams really, but all my Georgia boys on the defense for the Eagles, and they get a ring, and that's cool. That's really cool, and it really just because you think of the Eagles drafting all these Georgia players. The fact that they win, that just makes those decisions look even better, and it makes Georgia look good too, that they had that kind of players in their program to be able to be drafted and go to the same team over a couple 3 years and win. So that is awesome. I mean, I just think that is awesome. I would love to get a sticker from you guys. Sure, man. We'll figure. So I'll see here. I'm more of a college football guy, but I still enjoy the NFL. I'm trying to keep up with these chats. Thank y'all. You'd hate me if I shut up. Your favorite college team, haha. Well, no, I wouldn't hate you. I would never hate you, but if it's Tennessee or Notre Dame, that's my two worst. Like, who do you like? I mean, who do you root for? It's okay. All are welcome here. All are welcome. I pick at Tennessee, but that's rivals. I pick at Florida fans. I figured it had to be one. Florida jumped in my mind, so it's all good. It's all good. Hey, you know what? That's what makes it great. And I'm gonna tell you what. I've said it before, and I'll say it many more times. Hey, Platinum wins. Congratulations. Wow, what a game. But I'd rather be dead than be a Tennessee fan. I've heard people say that. But I've always said if I have a granddaughter I'm raising, if I had a daughter, Tim Tebow would be the kind of guy that I'd want to come to the door. What a guy. Works with the underprivileged kids and those with special needs. And he may not have got it always done on the field in the pros, but he's a pro in his heart. Yes, you should be celebrating. I know you are. I thought about you as the game was going on. I thought, I don't know where they're at tonight, but they are feeling no pain and they are celebrating. So Platinum wins. Congratulations. You've been talking about the Eagles for some time, and you deserve congratulations. And again, it's a great victory. It's going to go down as one of the biggest beatdowns ever in a Super Bowl. Maybe it is. I don't know. I haven't looked at the stats on that. There's been a couple of them that come out pretty bad, but this one, maybe because it was the two-time. I mean, I don't think you can ever. There's nothing that measures up that you come in the two-time championship team, 3 or 4 overall or whatever they have. You come in and you put that on that team like that. I don't think there's another Super Bowl that has that kind of action in it. And like I said, I was glad to see. It looked to be a pretty clean game. I didn't see any major injuries from what I watched. It happened before I got home. I didn't see it. I don't want to see anybody get hurt. There was a few dinged up, but that's going to happen in a football game. But it wasn't. There was a little bit of jawing, but not bad. It wasn't. I think there was some mutual respect. A really good, clean game. Really played, professionally by professionals. Go figure. And it was. I don't know the numbers. They'll release the numbers. Super Bowls always generate a lot of. I mean, they're always in the top 5. For ratings and around the world. So, hey, Asher, it was nice talking to you. Good night to you. You have a great. Thanks for being here. We appreciate you. You're a lot of fun, and we appreciate you coming and stream. You're welcome anytime. And hey, we're gonna have more sports shows, and we'll talk sports. Now that I know that you kind of do that, I'd love to have your opinions on some stuff too. So have a great night and happy Monday. Happy Monday if you got to work. And some people's going to have hangovers tomorrow. There was probably a lot of alcohol consumed, and it's going to be a lot out. There's probably whatever they were drinking in Kansas City. They've went way past what they planned on because they're drinking out of their tears now. Wow. But again, a great. I'm making some fun here, but to them, they're champions, and nobody can take that away from them. This one will sting them for the rest of their lives. They'll always remember, this one hurts, and it'll make them go, go back to the drawing board and say, what can we do? The Eagles will be favored next year. How can they not be? They will be the favorite on the board. I don't care. You can bring your Buffaloes, Baltimores, whatever. This team tonight just showed you how powerful they are, and they have to be the preseason favorite to win it and go back to back. They have to be. There's no other way but to say that. This team that doesn't have any real problems. I don't know of any contractual things. There may be a player move here or there. If they go and they can go in and have a good draft and just fill backup spots and needs, and maybe somebody slides to them. I don't know of a weakness that they have, to be honest. I really don't. They probably need a little, believe it or not, they probably need a little offensive line. They've had some injuries there. And they did, their center, and then they lost their backup center. And of course, those players will be back strong and healthy. But, every team always needs some offensive line help. But they really just don't have a weakness. I mean, it's maybe kicker, But then he goes out and jacks all them field goals tonight. I knew when I said that, dude was going to make a liar out of me. I said, well, he hadn't played well. Edge goes to Kansas City. Well, you got to get close enough to kick a field goal to show your leg off. And dude was just lights out. I mean, A.J. Brown showed up big way. Wow. Devontae Smith, some tough catches. They just put on a show. They put on a clinic, You have those football clinics, where they should come and show you how to play as a pro. Well, they just put on a clinic for how to win a Super Bowl. I mean, this is good. You can show this game film to teams going forward. This is how you win, boys. This is how you do it. It is the key. I really believe that. And I was watching the game and I said, I really probably should have even put more emphasis on that because offensively, they do play well. I'm not saying there's other teams that have probably as good an offense. I mean, you think Buffalo, they do good. Baltimore, there's some candidates there. But that defense is lights out. Wow. I mean, they couldn't handle them. I mean, there was just nothing to do. They didn't have to blitz. They run to the ball. They're great. They're great tacklers. Fundamentals are great. It was off the charts. There was a couple of breakdowns, but it was it didn't hurt them because sometimes it was even intercepted, even though the player was wide open because of a bad throw or he got hit. And even when they did get a big play, they responded by turning the ball over or just fizzling out. So yeah, this game is really easy to sum up. There's not a lot to say about it. It had no drama whatsoever at all. they said that the one time that I did see them show, I only saw them show Taylor once, and it was in the first half, and she was standing up, and she didn't look too happy. So it was the Kelseys and stuff. They don't get to cheer. I guess Jason does because the Philly wins, so he'll have to be quiet like that. He'll have to talk about that on a podcast, and console his brother. Hey, great game, but hey, the Eagles won. He probably won. I didn't get to see him. I'm sure he was there. They showed a few of the stars that were there. It looked like a good time had by all, except for Kansas City and their fans. I guess for all the other teams, wait till next year. Now this is over. It's really, even though they're not playing all year, it's a round the year sport because now you got all the, to start looking at your roster trades, what roster cuts are you going to make, what extensions, restructuring contracts, and of course the draft, which will be coming up. And I don't think, and I could be wrong, some positions will be. This draft doesn't wow me. There are some nice pieces coming out, but this doesn't. This looks to be a workman's top draft where you really fill in the spots you need. I don't see. I mean, It's not filled with a whole first round of, to my opinion, of the type of talent we usually see in the first round. I don't see it. Maybe it'll materialize, but unless some underclassmen declare, I really don't see it. And so it's more like getting the needs you have. There's definitely quality there, but it's not off the charts. There's no, it's not going to be 7 quarterbacks drafted in the first round kind of a draft. And if anything, running backs are going to be jumped up. And as was being said earlier today, the Cowboys need a running back. I mean, I could see them reaching up in the first couple 3 rounds and getting a running back because they're going to need one or bringing a free agent. And what do you do to stop this machine that is Philly now? I don't know that you can stop them. They just look they look all world. And you look at several of those players on defensive line. I mean, they're barely out. I mean, they're still babies. They're still like babies and they're big. I mean, they're early 20s. I mean, they're just kids. And they're men. They're growing up fast, but they're kids. So, there's not a lot of age there. And this is a young coach. He's got them fired up, going in the right direction. The one question, Fangio, does he stay? I mean, he's 66. He gets his ring. He'd probably come back. The pressure's off. I mean, there's always pressure to win, but, he finally gets the ring. Maybe he decides, who knows? I don't know his feelings on that, what he might do. So Philly gets a parade. That could be rough. Philly with a parade. It can be a rough town. I guess Walt Disney World or whatever is going to be happening for the teams that for the Philly, and that'll be fun to watch and see them, receive that recognition. And Jalen Hurts again. He's really an amazing player, an amazing guy. By the way, he's an amazing young man. He's a good Christian, and he believes in himself, and as you should. And he's a professional player. He plays with a lot of professionalism. He just goes out and gets it done. He's not a mouthy type of guy. But he's well respected in that organization and around the league. And they're set up now. Saquon, you got to feel good for him after the debacle of some of the teams that he played for to come here and now get that. Wow. And the same could be said for A.J. Brown after, his years at Tennessee and now to be here. is really amazing. I did feel good for that one guy that missed several games, but he got to come back and was playing the Super Bowl. I hate it for Nakobe Dean that he didn't get to play in the game, but he played. He helped him get there, and he'll get his ring. Uh, well done, Philly, Philadelphia Freedom. I mean, I can hear Elton John playing in the background. I mean, it's celebration time, and the thing you hope for is there's no violence. They're flipping cars over, burning the city down. Come on, guys, act like you've been there before. Let's not hurt the city. Again, Philly can be rough. And sorry, I had a little mouth. But yeah, it was fun to watch it. But it's fun to watch when you don't have your team's not playing. Like you don't sit there and sweat it. Like, oh man, and you're all keyed up and tensed up. I just sat back and enjoyed the game and relaxed. It was fun. What do y'all think about Tom Brady as an announcer? I'm curious about that. Do y'all like him as an announcer? Sometimes he's good, I think, and then other times I don't know. I'm really kind of lost sometimes where he's going with his comments. He's to me he's bland, a little bland. He does bring a unique perspective because of all the winning that he did, and he's not totally off on. I mean, he's got some good points he makes. He's not horrible by no means, but he's not. I don't know that he's worth what they're paying him. He's again, he's new at it. He'll develop. I'm not trying to be hypercritical or anything. That's a tough thing to do, to transition from the field to the booth, and he's doing it in a big way. And he's obviously well liked, and he brings that perspective. He's star power in the booth, but I don't know. I'm just not feeling it like that. He's really the guy. I'll be honest with you. They've cracked on Romo, but I kind of think I'd rather hear Romo over him. And I know that I'd rather hear Chris Collinsworth. And early on, I thought he just sounded like a whiner, but he's really turned into as he got in those little older years. He's funny, and I enjoy listening to him. And there's a couple of more that are okay, but I just wondered what the thoughts was. I mean, you're going to see a lot of flipping around in this. Some of these sports guys are really getting old, and there's a couple of them probably not going to be able to do it much longer. So you're going to see some new faces come in. I don't know how much. I'm not pushing them out the door by no means, but the Terry Bradshaws, and there's one or two more. I mean, they're getting a little long on the tooth, and at some point you're going to see a change come, because it looks like a geriatric. I mean, there's a couple of younger guys they've thrown out there, but that looks like this. For golf, you had the senior circuit. Aikman is really good. Well, he's one of the standard bearers for it. Rude, no doubt, and he's better than Brady. Again, I know it's too early really to evaluate. He's new at it, but I don't know. Some of it's just the inflection too. I'm not even talking about what he's saying. It's how he says it. It just seems a little bland. And I think maybe going into next year he'll loosen up a little bit and kind of get more comfortable with it. It's not that it's horrible. It's not. It's just that it's a little bland for me. It's like I'm not against the guy. I mean, I hate New England. I never was a fan of his, but I have respect for him, no doubt. But I don't know. I just thought, yeah, and maybe it was because the game was so bad. What do you do with that game? There's not much you can do. So that's part of it. I mean, the game was so bad, you can't expect a guy to, they couldn't build it up. I remember there was a couple of times, I mean, they were saying, well, if, because they always do that. Well, if they could score here and they get the ball back and they score there, and they could do, but there was a little bit of that. But then after a while, it was just like, okay, well, another stop for Philly. Philly gets the ball back. I mean, they're up 5 scores. Not a lot you can do with the game at that point. The question is, Brady on part of the Raiders now? There was some talk about, I don't remember the details on that. You may be right, but I'm not sure. I know he was wanting to get part ownership in a team. I think he was a part of a group, maybe. You may be right on that. I've forgotten. But he's definitely. I mean, he wants to be close to the game. He's doing that, and I applaud him for that. Again, it's not a knock. I'm just saying, would you really do you really like listening to him? He's definitely he's done well for himself. Don't have to feel sorry for him. He has done extremely well. Except, the marriage did fall apart, and I'm not going to be critical. Those things hurt. I don't care how rich you are or how famous you are. Divorces hurt, and so he's had a lot of transition in his life. He looks to be a great dad, and he seems to be liked by people in the league and fans. Even those that crack on him, they respect him. Mostly, there's probably some haters, but he'll develop and come along. And Aikman, like you said, he's kind of a standard bearer now. Chris Collinsworth, Romo, that's your big ones. Um, what about this lineup that's on Thursday, the prime game of the week? Al Michaels and what's the guy, the college guy? That's not too bad. That's pretty good. I can deal with that one too. It's because you get a lot of perspective with that crew. Al Michaels is legendary, but you get a lot of closeness to the college game, so that's kind of neat from that matchup. What changes will come this year for the NFL? There's always changes that come. I did see this, and I did hear about it, and I didn't even take the time to look in the game, but they were supposed to change out that stop racism, or whatever it said, that they planted over, with the TV on the end zones, and they were going to put up something else. So they're sort of shifting away from that. You can tell the effects of the election is even having effects on the NFL, which has acted as woke as any of them out there, to be honest. A lot of people quit watching the pros. This is it's had damaging effects. I mean, there were people in my church that I haven't turned it on since they started leading on the sidelines. I don't watch football. I don't watch NFL. There's people in our chats that say the same thing. I don't watch them anymore. And I get that. They really tick some people off, and that's the danger you take when you try to bring politics into your sporting event. I'll say it once. I've said it again. They're Americans, and they can do whatever they want in their own time. They should, as Americans. But I absolutely do not watch sports for politics ever. I think it's good. Like I said, if a president shows up, it doesn't matter to me which party. It just looks good for America that they do that from time to time. But I don't really want to hear what the athletes have to say about the politics. I just don't watch it for that. If they want to go on their own podcast or on a circuit or something in the off season or when they're not necessary to be there, but anything to do with the locker room, sidelines during the game, I don't want statements. I just want to watch sports. I do not like that, and I'm hoping some of that will tap down a little bit now since things have begun to change really quick. It's not going to be a popular thing anymore, and I think we're seeing some of that, and so good. That would be good. People, let's face it, sports is like movies, is like anything. It's an escapism. We root for our teams, but it's a chance for us for 2 or 3 hours. Honestly, if you can have much free time to zone out and just enjoy a ball game. When you go to a minor league baseball game or something, and you take your family, it's the whole thing. It's not just the game. It's talking, spending time with your family, watching your kids get one of those little, the baseball top helmet with the ice cream and eating it out, the peanuts and all that. It's just a great family time. And while I'm there, I don't want to see a sign on the sideline that says, this or that about politics. I don't want to see it. I'm there to spend time with my family. I'm there to have fun and root my team on. But yeah, I just don't. I thought that was a mistake from the beginning, and it seems to me today that all these athletes they're so craving to leave their legacy. They want to be known for something where their name will maybe go in the history books, not just for playing sports, but they had something really smart to say that everybody said, "You're smart. We're so happy you shared that with us. You're a legend now. You're a leader in our movement." It's a lot of it's hogwash, and they inflate their own ego too much. They think that their people are really just sitting on the edge of their seat. It's the same problem that movie stars have, and the shows like The View. They really think that most of America cares what they say, and most of America does not. And honestly, what they many times when they go to say something, it comes out very bad anyway. And the effect is truly lost because they're so bad at the messaging that they have. Again, if on their own time they want to go on the talk show circuit, if they want to hit up the streams, if they whatever they want to do and say about politics or the world at large or whatever, so be it. But leave it out of my sports. I've already made, I don't usually watch any pregame on the sports. I try to miss everything. Uh, Even they butchered the national anthem. I really try to turn on the game for football. When I see the kicker running towards the ball to kick off the game, that's when I turn it on. I will turn the sound up and I'll actually get into the game. I'm really not into all the pregame, story after story. The Super Bowl's the worst. Oh my goodness, they try to fill up, all those hours, and it's just endless stories and stuff. And I'm just by the time the game comes, I'm like, I used to do that. I used to watch all that. I don't watch any of it anymore. I just want to watch the game. Just give me a good game, and then I'm out. I've got things to do. And it really is, people are busy nowadays, and they don't. That's why sports has been trying to shorten the games up because they realize people are not going to sit and watch sometimes those games all the way through, especially this game. That was not good for the ratings. I'm sure after halftime. Maybe the first drive, they still were in, but after that, people tuned that out and said, you know what? There's something else on. There's a Netflix show. There's this, or I can play some video games, or I got to work Monday morning, and I'm just going to go into bed, and I don't need this mess. So that's the problem with a blowout like that. So anyway, I just wanted to come back on, talk about the game a little bit. Y'all been great to have the comments you've had in the chats. We've got quite a few in here. Uh, Congratulations again to the Philadelphia Eagles. I think of all those great Eagle players that throughout the history of the team of my generation. I don't remember all the old players, but all those so great players. For them tonight, you done it. You all won tonight. All Eagles fans, you can crow about it. You can say, "Hey, we did it," and that's always. I mean, man, that is awesome when you have that because I remember, sometimes you just think, is it ever going to happen in my lifetime? As a Georgia fan, I waited 40 years or something like that between championships. And there was a time when I thought, I'm never going to see this. And really, the person that when we won the first championship after 40 years or so, whatever it was, when we won that championship, the person I was most happy for outside of the players who deserve all of that, not me, was not myself. I enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong. It was for my sons, especially my oldest son. He is such a diehard Georgia fan. And I wanted him to experience that. He would get so frustrated every year. Well, Dad, I guess we'll just have to try to do it next year. And, it's just like, and he didn't know what that felt like. I mean, I was 15 years old when they won the first one in 1980, or the second one they'd ever won. But the first one in my lifetime, uh, I just, and then they squandered a couple of opportunities to win anymore. And I remember Cowboy Cook, who's a member of the crew here, and he said, Dave, it's going to happen. They're too good not to. It's going to happen. It'll happen for you. He likes the dogs. He's a Bama fan. But he still likes the dogs. And it did. And I immediately thought of my son. And I thought, he finally gets to enjoy the championship. And I enjoyed watching him celebrate and enjoy that championship more than for myself. And then they win it back to back. And I was like, I said, enjoy the ride, son. Enjoy the ride. And so for the Eagles fans, I would say enjoy the ride. Nobody can predict the future. It's a long season, but if any team could do it right now, it would be Philly, and they have a great chance. It's a chance. You got to go out and do it, but they have a chance to do it again next year, and even the year after that. For the Chiefs, fix your problems. You made it to the Super Bowl. You just got caught in a buzzsaw called the Philadelphia Eagles defense, and you're better than what that score showed. But you do have issues you've got to fix. You know that better than anybody. Um, Keep Andy Reid on the sideline, and if Kelsey stays and he doesn't retire, which he probably won't. I just throwing that out there that it might be getting time. Keep him around and go get you some offensive line help. You may have to do a big signing or something if you can find help in the draft, but you're going to need to get some help there. You got exposed bad on those edges, like our friend was saying in the chat. They got exposed really, really bad, and that's embarrassing. And for those players, I hate it for them because, especially those offensive linemen, they're going to have a lot of questions to answer. But they're professionals. It's a game. It is what it is, and so. Uh, and here's a question for you. Will Philly avoid the White House? The last time it was all this talk about who's going to the White House, who's not. College teams that said they weren't going to go, and other teams. I think they go. I think it's a new day, and I think that they go. I hope they go, and I hope that it's enjoyed. And hey, they could eat some Big Macs with the president because that's what he likes. Didn't he do that with one team? They come in. There's like hundreds of Big Macs on a big conference table. I think that's funny. But yeah, I don't see anybody. I mean, there's still going to be the same culprits, that are there in the hunt. Buffalo, as I said, they're going to be there. Baltimore is just, still very, very talented there. Kansas City's going to be back in the mix. Absolutely, they're not going anywhere. Maybe the Chargers make a move up a little bit. The Commanders, can they bring it back? Detroit, look at that. I really thought that team had a chance to go all the way. They didn't get it done either. And there's a couple other candidates, some up and rising. The Texans, can the Texans put it all together as they get a little bit older and a little bit further down the road? Can they get going? Here's questions for you. Can the new coach in the New York Jets, can he get anything done? And they've already told Brady they're moving on. So, not Brady, excuse me, Rodgers. Rodgers is being moved on. He says he still wants to play. So he's looking for a job. And somebody asked the new coach, what are you looking for in a quarterback? And he said, a winner. Great answer. He's got an edge to him. He's coming there. He's trying to turn around some things. Here's another one. The Cleveland Browns are so bad. Does their great defensive lineman maybe get out there and try to get him a ring too? Because it's not going to happen in Cleveland. That's for sure. Can the new Cowboys coach get them turned around from a really poor season for them? And this and many more are questions that will be asked in the offseason and answered in 2025 as we move toward another football season. And who will be the first pick of the draft? What major trades happen? These are always things and fun that we can watch. But for tonight, the Super Bowl is in the books, and the champagne is going to flow. Taylor Swift will probably write a song about this. She'll have something to be sad about, and she can write, that she's a victim, and she could probably come up with a good song about it. Maybe she'll write it about Kelsey. Maybe it'll be about him. We will spend an off season not talking about Kansas City, and a lot of people will be happy about that. We will be talking more about the Philadelphia Eagles because they are the champions. We are the champions, as Queen sang, and so again, congratulations to them and their fans. These hardy fans who sit out there and get it done, week in and week out. They're some of the craziest in the league. Bears fans thinks they're tough. You ain't got nothing on Philly. Philly tough, man. That's a tough crowd, man. They get it on up there in the stands, but they stand behind their team, and they tonight Philly fans are having a ball. So we celebrate with you, and Don't forget, in the morning is our morning show at 6 a.m. If you're up, some of you won't be up. Me and Rob will be back together. And then tomorrow night, Mama said, I believe we have Robert Diamond back. We're going to spin this thing a little different. If I think he's going to be there. And he's, again, hiking the Appalachian Trail to raise awareness, just like George Eshelman did in The Keeper, for veteran responders, due to the PTSD. I want to put up really quickly there his card, but I wanted to tell you that if you join us tomorrow night, if he's here, I have an idea. We're going to attack it from a little bit different direction. And I think here is that card somewhere. I don't know what to do with it. I've got it in here somewhere. I'll have to find it. But oh, there it is, Robert Diamond. So there he is. He'll be. I watched a late post of him tonight, and he was saying, "Don't laugh at me," to his military friends. He said, "It's been suggested I get my nails fixed on my feet." He said, "You got to take care of them dogs," and he said, "Don't mock me." He's a tough military guy. He's going to hike the Appalachian Trail. That QR code is to his fundraiser, not for himself, but to give to veteran causes. We'll have him back on, and if he is on, we're going to look at what would be the appropriate songs for the trail. What would be the appropriate songs for the trail? I can think of many. As I was thinking tonight, we'll have fun tomorrow night with that and knock it around. Yeah, she's going to enlist Carly Simon to help her write the song, no doubt. And yeah, I did think that Detroit at one point, I thought they might be the toughest team out there, going to win it all. Them Lions went off without a whimper. That's another team that got embarrassed. They'll be back. They said that Hurts said after the game, they lost that previous game, and he's very thoughtful. He was really energized, but he said, we'll be back. And they did. And they came back and won it big. But that'll be the shows for tomorrow. Look for MAGA Minute in the morning and Daily Devotional and whatever else. We did do a Veteran of the Week. It's out there in the streams as well. And we'll be back at work in the morning ourselves, dropping the kids off at school after the morning show. So we'll see you this week. Have a great week. And thanks for all the time you give us in the stream, y'all. A lot of fun. We appreciate your follows. And you take care. And enjoy this warm weather, rainy weather somewhat. And let's pray for Americans that are still hostages. If they're still there, there's some questions about one of them that was really, I think it was deceased as he came out. And that's still an ugly situation. We didn't do the news tonight. We'll do it tomorrow. There's lots to cover in that. So we'll do a special Monday edition of the SFP News Desk. We'll see you tomorrow. God bless. We salute you, and we are out.
Well, once again, it's time, my friends, for another meet and greet. We're Southern Pride and nationwide, so hang on to your seat. Look around, here's what I found. I guess you'll never know what you'll see on the Southern Pride Podcast Show.